Good morning. Today we are going to discuss some important topics from the second module of Environmental Impact Assessment paper. The second module contains mainly two topics: air pollution and water pollution. Air pollution, classification of air pollutants, some common air pollutants. These topics we were discussed in the first lecture of this module. And water pollution, point and non-point sources of water pollution. These points we were discussed in second and third video lectures of this module. Today we are going to discuss about major water pollutants and the impact of water pollutants in detail. Now let's discuss about water pollutants. Water pollutants are substances which causes water pollution. Some of the commonly found pollutants in water are inorganic salts, acids or alkalis, organic matter, suspended solids, floating matter, thermal discharges, coloring materials, toxic chemicals, microorganisms, radioactive materials, form producing matter, etc. Let's discuss one by one in detail. First, inorganic substances or inorganic salts. These include nitrates, phosphates, carbonates, chlorates, and sulfates of calcium, magnesium, iron, etc. These salts makes water hard. Hard water increases soap consumption and deposits scales on pipelines. Iron causes spots and stains on white fabrics. Water bodies enriched with nitrates and phosphates induce a rapid growth of microscopic plant life, which can lead to algal bloom, popularly known as eutrophication. Second, acids or alkalis. Most freshwater bodies have a natural pH in the range of 6 to 8. Acids and alkalis are discharged into streams by chemical industries and other industrial plants. High concentrations of acid, sufficient to lower the pH to below 7, causes eye irritation to swimmers, rapid corrosion of ships' hull, and deterioration of fishermen's nets. When the pH of water goes below 5, fish populations begin to disappear. Also, the efficiency of water treatment plants are affected by acidity. Alkalis appear in wastewater from soap manufacturing, textile dyeing, leather tanning, etc. High pH is also detrimental to aquatic life. Now the third water pollutant, organic matter. Organic pollution occurs when large quantities of organic compounds which act as food for microorganisms are released into water sources. During the decomposition of organic pollutants, the dissolved oxygen in the receiving water may be used up at a greater rate than it can be replenished, causing oxygen depletion. The minimum amount of dissolved oxygen in water for aquatic life is 3 to 4 milligram per liter. Next water pollutant, suspended solids. Suspended solids either settle to the bottom or remain suspended in the water bodies. These solids increase the turbidity of the water body. Solids that get deposited on the banks decompose and causes odor nuisance. Now next, floating matter. These include oils, grease and other materials which float on the surface and not only make the river unsightly but also obstruct passage of light through the water. Presence of floating matter hinders the self-purification process of water bodies as well. Now next, water pollutant, thermal discharges. Increase in the normal temperatures of natural waters is caused by nuclear power plant or boiler or industrial discharges. Since warm water is lighter than cold, stratification occurs in the water body and this causes most of the aquatic life to retreat to stream bottom. Also, bacterial action increases, which in turn results in accelerated depletion of the stream's dissolved oxygen content. Now next, coloring materials. Color in water is an indicator of pollution. Color interferes with the transmission of sunlight into the stream, thus reducing its natural disinfection action. Color in water is contributed by the effluents discharged from textile industries, paper mills, slaughterhouses, etc. The next water pollutant, toxic chemicals. Highly complex both organic and inorganic toxic compounds produced by various chemical industries have proved extremely toxic to aquatic life. These include cyanides, sulfides, acetylene, alcohol, etc. Now, next microorganisms. Domestic sector, food processing industries and slaughterhouses usually discharge wastewaters containing microorganisms. Diarrhea and pneumonia are the biggest killer diseases in children aged under 5 years in India. Oral rehydration salts with zinc supplementation is the correct treatment for diarrhea. The next, radioactive materials. Radioactive waste typically comprises of a number of radioisotopes emitting ionizing radiation which can be harmful to humans and the environment. This radiation is not readily detectable by the methods usually employed to determine the presence of contaminants in the environment. Exposure to high levels of radioactive waste may cause mutation and cancer. Now the last water pollutant, foam producing matter. Presence of foam producing matter leads to an undesirable appearance of the receiving streams or water bodies, which is usually discharged by textile mills, pulp and paper mills and some chemical manufacturing industries. So these are the main water pollutants. Now let's discuss about the effect of water pollution. Water pollution can cause a variety of problems to human beings and other living organisms. Some of them are: first, consuming contaminated water leads to a number of health problems due to waterborne diseases such as cholera, typhoid, jaundice, etc. Excess amount of metals in drinking water such as fluoride, lead, copper, etc. can cause general body weakness, mental retardation, failure of internal organs, cancer and even death. Second point, pollutants in water leads to widespread destruction of aquatic life. The next point, nutrient rich such as nitrogen and phosphate rich wastewater leads to abundant growth of algae which results in eutrophication. Then next, toxic pollutant in water easily enters the food chain which results in biomagnification. Biomagnification is the increase in the concentration of a pollutant from one link to another in a food chain. So these are the 4 effects of water pollution. Now let's discuss about the measures that you have to take to control water pollution. Some of the measures which can be adopted to control water pollution is: appropriate wastewater treatment is to be provided before discharging wastewater from industries and domestic sectors. Using phosphate-free detergents and reducing the use of fertilizers in agricultural fields, the phenomenon of eutrophication can be controlled. The public should be made aware of the ill effects of disposing wastewater onto water bodies. Now the last measure, legislative measures have to be made more stringent and the principle of PPP, that is polluter pays principle, should be strictly followed. That is, polluter should bear the cost of cleanup operations since polluter is responsible for pollution. So these are the main control measures that you have to adopt to control water pollution. Hope you understood these topics. Thank you.